Good evening and welcome to part 2 of today's From Day 1. Not that I want to continue, but let's get it done with. When we last left the Moors in court, he was still trying to ask for the judge's nationality. I don't think it's going to go well. So let's finish up so we can find out what happened to this judge to this Moor in court as their final justice gets dealt out.
I don't know your name, man.
Judge Laban, that is my name.
Your nationality?
You have no need to know my name.
Yes, I do. You are attempting to force business upon me. I need to know your nationality. For the record. And your status. For the record. And anybody else that's working with
Your
you.
questions are unintelligible to me.
The unintelligible is what, do you not understand what nationality means, man? Do I need to pull out the dictionary? Which dictionary are you comfortable with using, man? For the record.
If you're comfortable in using the You Can Go to Jail dictionary.
Alright, the record should reflect that I am going to give to Noble Amir Kusamir Noble Amir KCL, a copy of Indictment 08-07-0727 and Indictment 08-04-0441.
Objection, ma'am. Can you state for the record who those indictments are addressed to?
Well,
State who you were giving to. Objection. Wait, no.
I
Hand that back to
am
her. She needs
handing
to
the
repeat.
papers.
She needs to state for the
I am
record.
handing the papers to Noble Amir KCL.
I need to know who's on it, ma'am.
It doesn't matter who's on it.
Yes,
I'm
it
giving
does.
you copies of papers.
I need to know who's addressed to.
Read it.
If it's not addressed to me,
Read it.
you've not read my notarized affidavits.
Read it.
You've not read my notarized affidavits.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this matter another date. Mr. Kiesler, you can make whatever application you want. Noble Amir KCL, you can make whatever application you want. Hopefully, in the meantime, we will hear from the federal court with regard to the removal application.
I'm going to just state for the record that your application to do any further proceedings are denied because you have not proven jurisdiction, neither has the prosecution who is here and present. Prosecution, will you state your true claim for the record?
Your Honor, would any motion by our office be heard on the next date, or would you set a separate hearing?
No, it'll be heard on the next date.
Thank you.
For the record, your application to proceed to set any hearing is denied, it's not proven jurisdiction.
April 6th.
Denied.
This is the only notice that I will give Noble Amir KCL at the April 6th date. I don't know if anyone sends out, I don't know if Mr. Kiesler's office sends out letters reminding people, but I don't, and simply expect that you will be here on April 6th. And please, let me just say this. If you want this court to rule with regard to jurisdiction, it is very simple to bring the issue before me. All you need to do is file the appropriate application, a notice of motion.
Objection,
You
ma'am.
can file all these other papers, and it's just never going to happen, sir.
Objection, man. That's not my problem that you're not upholding the law, man. That's not my problem. That's your problem, man. Because whether you guards, you people understand or not, you've all fired yourselves. So there is no room to set another hearing because you failed to prove jurisdiction in every hearing that we've had. Judge Smith has failed to prove jurisdiction. You failed to prove jurisdiction. Prosecutor Jones.
KCL.
By the way, we're moving ahead to April 6th now. I love that she said it supposedly fired herself. Now,
We get a little bit organized here.
April 6th.
Here is.
Both L's are here now.
Give it extra much time. I know.
I wonder why on this court date they both didn't show up with their fez hats. It's rather odd.
You think maybe in the intervening 3 months they, came to God a little bit and maybe learned something? Knowing these morons, I doubt it, but, well, one could hope.
All right. Under indictment 08-04-0441, this is the matter of the State of New Jersey versus Cheyenne Mutada Kushamir and also Noble Lanier KCL. Would the prosecutor enter his appearance on the record, please?
Judge, good afternoon. Assistant Prosecutor Mike Lucina, State.
All right, and would the defense attorneys enter their appearance?
Teresa Gannon on behalf of Cheyenne and Kushner L.
Objection. I do not have a contract with the public defender's office. I've never spoken to her. We don't know where she's from. I don't know her. She has no contract with them too.
Oh, so he's got somebody from the public defender's office now, too.
Be a representative for me in any way. As I said before.
All right, your objection is noted for the record. Let me just proceed for a moment, please.
Objection.
Mr.
Ajay Keeser on behalf of the defendant, not to my immediate right, but at the end, Judge.
All right. What I have on my list today is the return date of the motion to dismiss for lack of in personam jurisdiction on behalf of Noble Lanier KCL and Cheyenne Mutada KCL. However, before I get to that, Cheyenne Mutada KCL, Kushamir L, I'm sorry. The way Ms. Ganem, the reason Ms. Ganem is here today, and I think you may recall this, is that I appointed the Office of the Public Defender to act as your attorney. I know that it was over your objection, but we had a hearing about it, and I determined that it was not in your best interest to proceed without legal representation.
Objection, ma'am.
I understand your objection.
She must fill out IRS Form 56 and notify the IRS that she's acting in a fiduciary capacity. You have to have a 1099.
No, she does not. Shut up. Judge, you may continue.
Kushamir, please. I understand all your objections. You'll be able to put all your objections on the record. Just let me explain to you what is happening here. The court appointed her, the court appointed the Office of the Public Defender to represent you, as Mr. Kiesler was appointed by the court to represent Noble Lanier KCL.
Objection, Mr. Kiesler does not represent me in this matter.
Your objection is noted for the record. Please be quiet for a
Please
moment.
take judicial notice that a civil suit is being filed against the Office of Public Defense.
I will not take judicial notice of that because I do not have in front of me any document that has been filed with a document. No. Well, that may be, but I can't take judicial notice of something that is not here. However, you can notify me of anything you want, but I can't take judicial notice of anything like that. However, what has become exceedingly clear to me is that it puts the Office of the Public Defender as an institution, Ms. Ganem and Mr. Kiesler as attorneys, in a most untenable position. And therefore, what I am doing is I am appointing them simply as standby counsel.
I'm objecting to that, ma'am.
You can object to anything that you want. As standby counsel, their only participation in this case will be to be present for every proceeding in the event Cheyenne Mutada Kushamir or Noble Lanier KCL, you wish to consult with them about a legal issue, a factual issue, a procedural issue, or anything else. You don't have to talk to them at all if you don't want to. You don't have to take any advice from them, listen to them, or anything else.
No, objection, ma'am. The Office of Public Defense is being sued in a class action lawsuit.
That's fine. You can do what you want. I mean, like I said, you asked me if I would take judicial notice of it. I am unable to take judicial notice of any lawsuit that I don't have here in front of me.
Simply orally notify me, ma'am.
Well, if you read the rules, however, you will note that the court does not take judicial notice of oral notification.
Well, I must object.
The objection is
Public Defense is being sued. They cannot represent me.
they're not representing me.
Thank you.
I That was what I just said. They are here simply as standby counsel. If you wish to consult with them, ask them for their advice, ask their opinion, ask them about procedure, whatever it is.
The only questions I would have to ask them, man, would be during the trial in federal civil court, man, district court.
Yeah,
I have no other questions to ask.
the question I do have, ma'am, is if the woman.
Ms. Gannon.
Ms. who?
Gannon, G-A-N-I-N.
Gannon. And gentleman Keesler, I would have to fill out IRS Form 56, and I would need copies of the 1099 ORD that Luciano, Mr. Luciano, is supposed to file and notify the IRS. If anybody's acting in a fiduciary capacity, you would have to sign the IRS Form 56 and notify the IRS that they're acting in a fiduciary capacity.
I would also be needing copies of those.
They are not acting in a bloody fiduciary capacity. They're there just to provide you legal advice. Like, shut the hell up. See, yes, I can clean up a little. These guys don't deserve a full cleanup, however. That is what they are there for. So shut the hell up, get a brain cell, and otherwise, shut up.
Judge filled out applications to the IRS.
There's no need to respond, Mr. Keeson.
No, Your Honor, I haven't been relieved now putting a standby counsel. Maybe we take position behind.
Yes, certainly.
Judge, if I may,
In other words, he wants the fuck out of there. And considering these morons, I don't blame him in one little bit.
before I take position behind, if I may, for the record show, I'm giving the discovery that was given to me by Mr. Luciano to Cheyenne and Kishner L. Thank you.
All right. I know there has been some discussion about discovery, and that envelope of discovery is for you, Cheyenne Mutada Kushimira.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a question, both of you and each of you.
Good luck, Your Honor.
I know that in the past I have referred to you either as Mr. L, Mr. Kushimir L, and I think it was Noble Emir KCL indicated to me that that was not an appropriate way in your society to address you. I would like to ask you if there is a way that is appropriate other than to say Noble Emir KCL and Cheyenne Mutada KCL, Cheyenne Mutada Kushimir L, to shorten it, if there is an appropriate way to address you.
The only proper way to address this would be sovereigns of the Marrakesh Society.
Would be what?
Sovereigns of the Marrakesh Society.
Well, the problem is I cannot say to you, sovereign of the Marrakesh Society, because there's two of you, and the record would not know that I am addressing you. So if I say sovereign of the Marrakesh Society, is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me write this down. Sovereign, okay, hold on.
Sovereigns of the Marrakesh Society. Other than that, there would be no probable other way to address us by other than Noble Emir KCL,
Okay.
Cheyenne Mutada.
That's fine. That's fine. Then I will refer to you. Now, are you also referred to as Noble?
Yes, I am a nobleman, ma'am.
Okay.
That is my title.
I have not received anything from you that
I have filed via Superior Court Clerk and Criminal Case Management all documents, authentic documents regarding my identification. It should be in your possession at this particular point because this was filed last year.
Well, there are many documents here, many of which are completely unintelligible. However, there was never any indication by you in court, and I didn't see anything in the documents that indicated you wanted me to refer to you that way.
Yes, ma'am, it is. I have the video. I have the video and audio.
Well, it has escaped my recollection. But I will certainly refer to you from now on as Cheyenne Mutada Kushimir L, as I have referred to Noble Emir Kushimir L as well. KCL, I'm sorry.
Just call him Tweedledee and Tweedledum and get it over with.
as well as a notice of removal has already been put in. This the Superior Court clerk, as well as criminal case management, as well as the prosecutor's office, has made it extremely and exceedingly difficult to serve the papers of the notice of removal on this court.
On this court?
Yes, ma'am.
All you do is go to the first floor and get
I
a
do it all the time, but the women down there seem to not understand where the papers were supposed to go and what was supposed to be done with it. So you should be able to get a receipt of those documents filed with the federal court docket number on.
Do you have a copy of them with you now?
I'll just serve the paper down to serve.
You don't have a copy for yourself?
Yes, but
Because the last time this matter was before the court.
this was on short notice. I actually have to be at the federal court in a few minutes. Actually, this
Short notice. Last case time was 3 months ago. If 3 months ago in your world is short notice, you're an idiot.
was completely this notification that I received to especially appear here was completely.
The last time Noble Lanier KCL was in court, he told me that a notice of removal was being filed. And I have never seen that, so I'm not aware of the fact that it's been filed.
Before today is out, I'll make sure your office, you receive it handed. If not, you'll be receiving it in the morning. This was filed all the way back in January. So I don't understand what the confusion is about where it comes from. I don't work here, so I don't know.
I don't have any confusion.
I don't have any as well with regards to being filed.
I did want to ask you a question. Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushamirel. The last time that you were in my courtroom, I gave you a court date in March, and I want to make sure I have the correct date here. March 23rd.
I'm not aware of a March 23rd, but I do recall last time I was here, I did make you aware that I would not be appearing here any longer, and you told me that was fine and that to do what I wanted to do. So I'm just quoting what you said verbatim. So the March 23rd date, like you said, you don't give out notices and notifications through the mail. And I had no agreement or notification for the March 23rd day. That's why I'm not aware of it.
You were in court and I told you about the March 23rd.
Yes, and I told
and
you
when you weren't here on March 23rd, Ms. Gannon, who was representing you at that time, was present and asked if your matter could be continued until today. And that's why you got a letter from her. But I just wanted to make that clear because I don't send letters in the mail. I tell people when they are in court. Well, that does clear up that issue. All right. The issue before the court today is to address the issue of in personam jurisdiction, which has been raised by Noble Amir KCL and Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushamirel on a variety of occasions. And as I have made clear, I am going to treat the documents that have been filed. I have here what was filed on January 7th with my chambers, the non-negotiable affidavit of fact to dismiss with prejudice for lack of personam jurisdiction. And that's the issue that I am going to discuss this morning. I know that I have received from Mr. Luciano a copy of his brief in opposition to that. And I'd like to ask Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushamirel, do you have anything further that you want to say in support of your application?
I love that it's still the non-negotiable, not non-negotiable. Again, they didn't know how to even spell on their own piece of paper. Oh, dear God. So, the non-negotiable paperwork, this ought to be good.
This court has no jurisdiction, no matter what's filed, and I'm just simply here to give oral notification. As you say, you don't take oral notification concerning files suits that were filed. But that's simply my case in point being here today is to notify Luciano in the court that they're being sued. So
you're suing Mr. Luciano in the court as well?
No, I'm suing. It's a Title 14 pattern and practice lawsuit has been commenced against the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office, Superior Court of New Jersey,
Oh, okay.
and so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, as I explained to Noble Lanier KCL, at some point in time, I can certainly take judicial notice of pleadings that have been filed in federal court or in superior court or whatever it is. But until I see it and can make reference to the docket number, I don't take judicial notice of it. I'm sure that you've had the opportunity to look at the court rules and see what the court rules say about, and the rules of evidence say about judicial notice. So when the appropriate document is here, appropriately stamped, I can certainly do that. But anything else that you want to say on the issue?
This court has no jurisdiction, and it is too late in the procedure of things to approve jurisdiction because I haven't consented or given jurisdiction at any point.
All right, thank you very much. Noble Lanier KCL, do you wish to say anything further in support of your application to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction?
Similar case, Your Honor. The prosecution has failed to prove jurisdiction in over 5 hearings. I've also haven't received any notification of any oppositions to any applications to demand proof of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction has not been proven in either of the hearings that we've been here presently. The last 2 hearings, you scheduled a date for jurisdiction to be a subject, and the prosecution stated that you wish to remain silent. Therefore, jurisdiction has been proven,
And it cannot be proven.
and this case can no longer proceed further without being in violation of the law.
All right, anything else that either of you wish to say? No?
Not at this particular point. It depends on what you say next.
Well, I'm going to listen to what Mr. Luciano has to say, and then because you are the moving parties, you have an opportunity to respond to what Mr. Luciano has to say, and then I will speak. So they're the only opportunities you're going to have to speak. You'll have a chance, as I said, you can listen to what Mr. Luciano says, and you can respond to that, of course. Mr. Luciano.
Judge, just briefly, as I noted in my brief, under NJSA 2C1-3A1, the state is clearly vested with power to prosecute crimes occurring within its territorial borders. Essentially, Judge, the essential basis for invoking jurisdiction in criminal cases is that the crime be committed in the state in which the case is to be tried. Simply put, these defendants, Judge, the conduct that the defendants engaged in occurred in Mount Laurel Township and Willenburg Township, respectively. As I stated, Judge, the brief applies to all the cases involved, because there are 2 cases involved. The defendant to the far right.
Noble Lanier KCL.
And only 1 case to the defendant to my immediate right. According to the judge, state has territorial jurisdiction to prosecute these men. Secondly, Judge, it's an element of the offense that when factual disputed must be decided by a petit jury. I cited State versus Anoka and Schumann. It is submitted to the jury judge when, unlike here, there is a factual dispute over the location of crime. Filings by both of the defendants, Judge, frankly, unintelligible is a good way to put it. I think that's a kind way to put it. It has to do with federal UCC laws and commerce, which have no application, Judge, under the state criminal law. Finally, Judge, the moving party has a burden to show no inference could reasonably be drawn placing the site of the crime within the state. None of the filings dispute, Judge, that these crimes didn't occur inside the townships, as noted in both of these indictments. Finally, Judge, the defendants have not presented any credible evidence indicating any personal immunity from prosecution by the state. Objection, Judge. The state would ask that you this.
Excuse me, Mr. Luciano. Noble Lanier KCL and Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushmirel, please do not interrupt Mr. Luciano when he's speaking. You will have, as I said before, the opportunity to respond to anything that he says, object to it, place your position on the record. I will not allow Mr. Luciano to interrupt either of you. I will not allow either of you to interrupt Mr. Luciano. Continue, please.
Just simply, the state would ask that you deny the defendant's motion to dismiss the indictment for lack of jurisdiction, which was the way essentially, Judge, you titled this. Though again, the documents were not received specifically. What I know you would consider all the documents received as notice of motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. So again, Judge, the state would oppose for the reasons cited here and also in my brief.
Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushmirel, do you wish to respond in any way to what Mr. Luciano has said?
Yes, after Amir KCL responds.
Yes.
All right, that would be fine.
I wish to object. Delegation of authority orders have been submitted to the prosecutor office, the criminal case division, We are not citizens of the state of New Jersey. Our dissolutions have been filed way before any of these incidents occurred, which were pursuant to the expatriation laws of the United States codes properly. Jurisdiction has been raised. The prosecution and anybody else in this court that plays an adverse party lacks the status and the nationality to proceed. For the record, would the prosecution state his name and nationality?
They already got my name on it.
Please.
Don't have your nationality for the record. Also,
Just a moment, please. Noble Amir, KCL, is that all that you wish to say?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushimuriel, do you wish to say anything?
Yes, the point that Mr. Luciano raises in regards to none of the documentation being provided to the courts and to the prosecutor's office, not saying that the actions did not occur in the township. It says quite explicitly in the documentation where the actual event occurred, and it occurred at Earth Coordinates, and we did not say that it happened in the township of Marlboro, because the township of Marlboro is a corporation, so it is impossible for a corporation, according to the United States Code, to have territorial borders. I'm not responsible for the documentation being unintelligible. I don't know your level of education or what you've actually studied, but in the documentation itself, and that is by far not the first notice to dismiss that was presented to this court. So I dispute that, and that is actually not true, that jurisdiction was disputed in case in point, I would tell. So,
Represented by the Office of the Prosecutor to examine either of them in any way. Those are rights that are guaranteed to them by the Constitution of the United States of America and by the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. The right to remain silent and not to answer any questions, as well as the right to be free from incrimination, that they cannot be called as witnesses at any proceeding in which they are also parties. So whether, in fact, one actually thinks that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787 provides them with the exemption from examination is of no moment today, because there are other constitutional, and I would suggest perhaps more important in this court, rights that they have. At this point in time, these are merely allegations as they appear in documents that are indictments handed up by the grand jury. This court, because the allegations are that the conduct alleged occurred in townships in the state of New Jersey. If you read 2C:1-3, clearly this court has the authority to proceed in this matter, both as a matter of territorial jurisdiction and as a matter of personal jurisdiction.
You see, the jurisdiction issue ended exactly the way I said it would. It took these more sovereigns about 8 court hearings to finally file the paperwork correctly, and in 2 seconds, all the judge wound up saying was that they do have jurisdiction over these 2 Moorish fools. I don't know why these Moorish Americans always try to run with the jurisdiction thing. It never works. Use this video as proof that the courts do have jurisdiction. You just heard the judge say it. So Moorish Americans, from here on out, there is no need for you to challenge jurisdiction when you catch these cases.
Because the allegations are that the conduct alleged occurred in townships in the state of New Jersey, if you read 2C:1-3, clearly this court has the authority to proceed in this matter, both as a matter of territorial jurisdiction and as a matter of personal jurisdiction. Because the allegations are that the conduct alleged occurred in townships in the state of New Jersey, if you read 2C:1-3, clearly this court has the authority to proceed in this matter, both as a matter of territorial jurisdiction and as a matter of personal jurisdiction. Because the allegations are that the conduct alleged occurred in townships in the state of New Jersey, if you read 2C:1-3, clearly this court has the authority to proceed in this matter, both as a matter of territorial jurisdiction and as a matter of personal jurisdiction. If I understand the argument that is made by the defendants, and if I can construe the filings that they have made, they argue that because they are citizens of a foreign nation, they are not subject either to process of the courts of the state of New Jersey, nor to any of the proceedings of the courts of the state of New Jersey. I am satisfied from reviewing the information that has been presented that they are wrong in their belief that this is so. Citizenship of, in this case, citizenship of either Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushamirel or Noble Amir KCL is irrelevant to what is happening here. I am satisfied from reviewing the information that has been presented that they are wrong in their belief that this is so. Citizenship of, in this case, citizenship of either Noble Cheyenne Mutada Kushamirel or Noble Amir KCL is irrelevant to what is happening here. I am satisfied from reviewing the information
that said that to these Moorish fools. These people are so wrapped up in this Moorish nonsense that they don't even realize that the arguments that they spout are absolutely ridiculous. Anyone that comes from a foreign country, it doesn't matter what country they're coming from, while they're here in the United States, they are subject to the laws of the United States, and the United States has jurisdiction over them, whether they are foreign or not. The ridiculousness of these Moorish sovereigns argument is that they're trying to make a foreign argument that is absolutely bogus, and they're not even foreign. They were actually born here. So you're making an argument that doesn't hold any weight regardless, and you really think that
relax, your brain's going to blow up because they're idiots.
Oh, I'm a foreign national, you don't have jurisdiction. No, that is not how it works. Now, anyone watching this video, especially Moorish sovereigns that are looking to join this group, you just heard the judge say it out of her mouth. So if this judge says it, all judges are going to say it. So you already know for 100% fact that arguing jurisdiction does not work, and especially arguing fictitious jurisdiction, because you guys are actually United States citizens, point blank, period.
I could certainly consider as an analogy persons who come to the United States of America who are citizens of France or citizens of Germany or citizens of Spain certainly are subject to the jurisdiction of the courts of the state of New Jersey if they are in the state of New Jersey, simply by virtue of their being here. I could certainly consider as an analogy persons who come citizens, a Noble Amir KCL, are denied, and these matters will proceed as we normally proceed with matters that are listed in the criminal division.
Objection, man. We do not allege or affirm that we are in the state of New Jersey, particularly with regard to other types of citizens. We are sovereigns. We are not subjects of any corporation. The United States is also a corporation pursuant to the United States codes as well. Therefore, we cannot be inside a corporation And you have not committed any violations of any of your corporations. By the way, you have no contracts with any of your corporations. And if any of your corporations do have any contracts, please present the contracts into the record, for the record.
As well as the jurisdiction matters of being a citizen of a foreign state, as he just said. No one never proclaimed or put on record, I know I haven't and I know he hasn't, that we were citizens of any foreign state, as well as according to case law, federal case law, treaties are supposed to be interpreted as they were. The statute, could you repeat that statute?
Statute 13.
Yes, it says in there that the state does not have authority to limit or enlarge the rights of treaties. So you're trying to interpret a treaty from 1787. You're not authorized, nor qualified to do so. That is a violation of law because they're supposed to be looked at as the original context in which they were written and signed under, as well as the Article 4 being meeting at sea. If we were allegedly in the township of Mount Laurel, then we are dealing with maritime law correctly, and the officer was presented with proper identification.
Oh my God, they're referring to a city because it's Jersey likes to call their cities townships as a frickin' town. Shut up.
Regarding our identification and regarding our status as North American nationals and not citizens of a foreign corporate state, nation state.
All right. Your objections are noted.
And as well to add for the record, diversity of citizenship is an automatic element to affirm that this particular court does not have the proper jurisdiction or authority to adjudicate. The only court within the United States infrastructure that has a glimpse of authority to hear this matter is the United States District Court of New Jersey, pursuant to Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. If your particular courts wish to adjudicate on Moors or Moorish Americans, then you need to establish consular courts on this level of government.
All right. Now that I have decided the issue of jurisdiction, these matters are able to proceed, as I indicated before, according to the usual procedure that we have. I know that one of the matters in which Noble Amir KCL is the only defendant is under 03-02-0282, violation of probation, and we simply list that for a management conference that will continue to be listed. The other two matters I will schedule for status conferences so that we can try and figure out where we're going with them. If in fact,
the indictment account, you said the indictment is not an account. On the green sheet provided by this court, as well as other documentation, it has the indictment listed as an account. It says it's an indictment account.
As well, for the record, can anyone please produce a contract with Noble Amir KCL from any agency within the state of New Jersey? I don't have any contracts with
Noble Cheyenne Machado Kushimiriel, I'm going to give you another court date. This will be for a status conference. No, sir, you listen to me. Stop speaking, please.
Am I being threatened, man?
No, you're not being threatened.
All right, I have a right to speak. That is a constitutional right to object. An objection is made, man, pursuant to...
Cheyenne Machado Kushimiriel.
Future Morris Americans, what have we learned here with this video? The main thing to take from this is that when you get into legal issues, challenging jurisdiction does not work. The courts most definitely have jurisdiction over you. It doesn't matter that you want to act like you're a foreign national, because real foreign people that come over still fall under the jurisdiction of the courts.
Alright, I'm going to leave you there because this has been forever. And I have people who probably would love to have something else. Now, since we haven't for 2 days, and I did go ahead and do this at the end of last night's part 3, we did do 2 Judge Judy Hyper cases. But since normally they would be here on part 2, let's actually go ahead and make sure we actually do it here on part 2. Let's find ourselves a Judge Judy hyper case of the day, shall we? Alright, so let's see. Alright, so tonight we have Judge Judy handling somebody who gets injured in a football game.
Alan Pafford wants to be compensated because he was injured in a collision with Glenn Smith during a street football game.
I was playing in the back, very in the back, waiting for, someone to come. Saw the ball, I was going backwards, saw the ball, saw it was well over my head, stopped, turned, saw Glenn coming at me.
That's Glenn.
Glenn. Tried to yell to, stop, and
you collided.
We collided. Went flat on my back. A couple guys I couldn't get up. A couple guys had to carry me into the house.
Basically,
I
was running down the street, and he was playing deep safety. And I saw him in the center of the street. I was running down the right side. And I'm pretty fast, so I figured this is an easy touchdown. And I just kept on going straight, turned to look for the ball, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I ran into him, and we
collided. So you both fell to the ground?
Both fell to the ground, yeah.
When you play a game of football, touch or otherwise, you assume certain risks. Now, if you were walking down the street and weren't involved in this game, and some other people were playing a game of touch football, and they came over and they knocked you over and you broke your leg, that's a different story. Because when you're walking down the street, you don't assume the risk that somebody's going to come and knock you over. But when you play a game of touch football, the object of the game, powerful men colliding with each other. That's what they like. That's what the game is. It's not jump rope. It's football. You were injured. That's a really sad thing. I assume you're not going to play touch football again. Is that right?
I can't.
Very good. This case is dismissed.
In other words, get out of here. You say you play a stupid game, you get stupid prizes, as
before we get started with
our good old friend would used to say. All right, let's go with that one. Father Skeptic, are you ready? Because I like our Father Skeptic. Okay. Now, Team Skeptic or Father Skeptic, whichever terminology you wish, grew up on basically doing what's called the idiot count. Anytime that a flat earther or a sovereign citizen would be extremely stupid in whatever they would say, we'd call him an idiot and ding the bell. Ding. He did, in the most recent times, start to get away from that, but people like what they like. And in this case, people like when he calls them the idiots that they are. So tonight, we get back to that. We won't necessarily stop and actually call them an idiot, but anytime they definitely do say something that is extremely on the idiot bandwagon, so to speak, you will hear a ding each time. So if they say the same idiot thing 3 times, you'll hear 3 dings. Note that each time they do, they're an idiot. With that, Skeptic, are you ready? Good? Okay, let's begin.
So let's begin.
Alright, everybody. So the cops have now pulled us over. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see what's going on today, guys. I did, I can hear you. I don't consent.
I don't consent. I don't consent.
I don't think we give up rats. You know what? If you consent, you might not have heard because he kept yelling he did not consent. The cop is telling him that, guess what? We have a warrant for your lily living ass's arrest. So therefore, we probably very much don't really give much of a, rat's ass about you consenting. Mr. Skeptic, you wanted to speak?
Well, he's got a warrant for your arrest, so not consenting is not an option.
I don't consent. I don't consent. What you're doing is illegal. I am not that corporation you have in your hand, sir. I do not consent to what you're saying. It's a corporation. My name is not spelt like that. It's a capital T, small y, small l, small e, and r. That's all capitals. That's not me.
Could you imagine how much easier life would be for a career criminal if he could just look at an officer who has an arrest warrant and go, oh, that's not me. I spell my name differently. I spell my name capital D, little u, capital M, little b, capital ass.
Everyone can come down right now to George Street or Water and George. The cops are trying to arrest me for absolutely nothing.
Other than a warrant.
I don't consent.
You need to open the door because you're going to be placed under arrest on the strength of the warrant, okay?
I don't consent. What's your name and badge number?
My last name is Schubert, and my badge number is 280.
What about you? Well, all of you? I don't consent. I don't consent to anything you're doing. I don't wish to cooperate with that corporation because People Police is a corporation to make money. I do not wish to cooperate with your corporation. Do you understand that?
No, we don't understand you because corporation is not a word. I think the word you're looking for is corporation. And whether you like it or not, you will be cooperating with that corporation today.
Your Peterborough Police is a corporation. I do not wish to do anything with your corporation. I do not consent to anything you're doing at all. I do not understand.
Yeah, no shit. I bet there's a lot of things you don't understand in life. Like why you shouldn't lick lead paint and why Crayola puts a don't munch the crayons warning on the box.
I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. Well, it does actually. I don't consent. You do what you gotta do. I don't consent. Looking real tough there with a mask on.
I hope the bell doesn't break.
Everyone's watching your criminal activity.
But we're dinging it quite a few times here.
I will not open that door.
Yes, you will, or they'll open it for you.
That gives me consent to you. I do not
Oh, are we going to do the safe flight challenge here? That'd be fun.
consent. I am a man of flesh and blood under God's law. Yeah, is it worth...
Wait, under dogs' law? Like woof woof? I think you meant God's law, even though you're still stupid.
Worth it? You just said, is it worth it? You just said, is it worth it? You are a criminal. You're a criminal. You're a criminal.
You all heard
We heard that. You're live streamed to hundreds of people. You're a criminal. You're a criminal. You're a criminal.
And yet, for some reason, you're the one with the criminal arrest warrant.
Why couldn't you have done this at the rallies?
Why can you do it at the rally when people are watching? You're a criminal.
Over by ourselves?
I don't consent to anything you're doing. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's consensual stuff. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You know what you're talking about. Learn your law, lady. I'm a man of flesh and blood under God's law. Not your corporation law you call the Peterborough Police. You are a corporation. You understand that? Oh, you keep putting that mask up. It's doing great for you, buddy. Yeah, it's cold. Where is outside? Oh my God, dude.
Little mask.
Share this everywhere. Peterborough Police are corrupt. He just said, should we do this right now? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Dude, is the paycheck worth it? Is it that good for you guys right now? I will hold you. hold all of you accountable for crimes against humanity. You understand that?
Yeah, sure. We'll just have the Geneva Convention put on hold, investigating all of the other atrocities, so it can focus its attention on a jackass getting arrested for being a jackass.
I'll get all your names and badge numbers, eventually, and I'll hold you all accountable for crimes against humanity. You're criminals. Criminal.
How many officers do you
You're a criminal. Yeah, you're criminal. I don't consent.
You saw him when he got to the rally this morning.
I was at the rally all day today. Why didn't you come get me then? At the rally down there. Why didn't you come get me then?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was for safety reasons, or because it gave them a tactical advantage. But one thing I do know for sure is no matter what the reason is, you're going to jail today.
Why do you wait till I leave and harass me and stalk me like weird people? I thought you were supposed to uphold the Canadian Constitution, the Canadian Bill of Rights, the human rights, right? Nothing. You guys are absolute criminals. You guys are nuts, man. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't work with corporations. I'm a man of flesh and blood under God's law. I am a man of flesh and blood under God's law.
You can be under God's law, but be sure to observe the 11th commandment, which reads, "Thou must wait in the commissary line if thou wants a honey bun tomorrow."
Not your corporation bullshit. Take a hike, buddy. You already said, is it worth it?
Yes.
You guys are ridiculous,
for
man.
you, is it worth it that you're going to jail?
Is there enough of you? Look at the tax dollars, everybody. Holy fuck, look at them all. They're everywhere.
Are you telling us that you have all those tax dollars stuffed in the boxes in your closet?
Look at them all. Holy moly. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 cruisers. You guys...
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes in the back of your car. It's not a closet. It's a vehicle.
You're nuts, man.
Look, we got all our support.
Yeah, here comes a convoy, buddy. You guys are looking so dumb. So dumb.
If there's anyone that's dumb in this video, it's you and that see you next Tuesday that's driving. I mean, did you really think that your fate was going to change just because you called a convoy of Karens? If anything, you just made your situation worse.
I don't consent to your corporation that's trying to make people a part of your illegal fiction. Do you understand? I don't consent. 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 I don't care what you have to talk. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. Then break the window if you have to.
Well, they have an arrest warrant, and you've locked the door and refused to get out of the car. So you're kind of leaving them with no options.
I don't consent to anything. Whatever you do, you're being held accountable. Do you understand that? Name and badge number, please. Oh, wall work. Name and badge number. Badge. Thank you. There you have it.
This is your choice.
Yeah, smash. If you want to smash the window, go right ahead. I'm going to hold you guys accountable. You will be personally held accountable. I'm going to take your job.
Okay, Karen. Like it's her fault that you're out there breaking the law and have an arrest warrant.
Yep, I'm telling you. You have an opportunity to walk away. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't think you understand. He understands. He already said we shouldn't be doing this. You guys are absolute criminals.
That's not what he said.
Criminals! Go away.
You're harassing us.
Harassment at its finest.
You're getting in trouble outside our own home. You're harassing us.
Wait. Whoa. Back the cement train up. Did she just say harassment in their own home? This is Canada. And are these idiots living in this car? Is this what they're admitting to now? If that's the case, I would stop being a fucking moron and trying to protest sovereign citizen bullshit and maybe get a job.
come to my house, you stalk my house, you fucking won't leave me alone?
Yeah, that is what they're fucking doing. He's even now going in the house. Oh, fuck. Skeptic, you want to say something about these two Canuck morons?
What the fuck? Did you just say that they pulled over your house? I swear I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. But even if that was your home, and even if they did pull you over, they can still execute an arrest warrant.
What is this? Look at there's little kids watching!
Oh, somebody please pick up the children!
Thank you.
You guys are absolute criminals, man. Absolute criminals. Please share this far and wide, everyone. This is absolutely... And they can block traffic. You guys can hold up traffic. It's okay, right?
Excuse me, but shutting down a road for an hour while they execute an arrest warrant is completely different than shutting down an entire city for weeks at a time, keeping the residents from even being able to get supplies for themselves.
Yeah, whatever. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. Babe, you follow me as close as possible. Smash your window if you don't open the door. I don't consent.
I think we've given him plenty of opportunity to get out of the car on his own. You know what time it is?
Safe light time?
Window smash
Yay!
time!
That's good one, guys. Smart. That was very smart, eh? Absolute criminals. Absolute fucking criminals, guys.
It's safe light smashy time!
We'll be held accountable.
I think this is the first time in the history of history that a sovereign citizen has been paralyzed from taking the Safe Light Challenge.
God, this guy's still racking up things even outside.
I don't need that in my
Oh, you serious?
I'm videotaping it.
No, you can tape, but you can't interfere. He's under arrest. He's under arrest, so you don't want to get arrested too, right? I'm guessing you don't want to, and I don't want to arrest you. So you can tape all you want.
Freedom, right? Right. He's such a criminal, isn't he?
Yes.
All this has to be here for him? They don't want me to get arrested too, Tyler. Block the street off down there.
Yeah, he's still ringing up the names for saying he doesn't consent.
Bye, have a great time. Alright, guys.
Thank you very much. And now, Skeptic, I know you've got a great one for us tomorrow night. Actually, both the idiot in the citation and then his court appearance afterwards. He's nodding like he's grinning Cheshire Cat. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow night for both of those then. Hope you have a great night, and thank you all. By the way, for those wondering, we managed to get 70 dings on that dinger. Because, well, the guy is a moron. So, as always, of course, we do have UFOs in the overnight with Art Bell. So make sure you do come on back for that in part 3. We will be more than happy to love to have you for that. Like, share, and subscribe. Get us to the goal of 50,000 viewers and 1,000 subscribers. So Boxy will send us those nice raid packages and YouTube will go ahead and, pay attention to us. CoinBase and Ibotta are below. Both fill those out to go ahead and get that rock and rolling and taken care of for you. Till then, like one another. Make sure you do be kind to one another, that is. And in the meantime, may your fights be awesome in Dominion. Come on back for the aliens in our next episode in part 3. And until then, it's always a great new world to release those Krakens. Have a great evening. We'll see you in the overnight as we continue to march along here from day one. Have a good night.